Hey, how we doing? It's JC and RL once again with Brown Mint Horror. We are coming at you with episode 5 of Brown Mint Horror's Behind the Horror. Today we are joined with Desmond Hew, Rizal. Let me make sure
Rizal.
I'm not pronouncing this right. Rizal, and Mr. Dizzy from the monstrous, epic, independent horror film Lurking Woods, courtesy of Midnight Releasing. And our great friend over at Samara Entertainment, Miss Shari. Thank you so much for hooking us up with these guys. Yep. How are you guys doing?
Good, thanks.
Doing great. Yeah.
First of all, first and foremost, thank you so much for allowing this opportunity to speak with you about horror and giving a couple of two guys from Nashville, Tennessee, a chance to speak with some great horror film aficionados.
Yep.
It was a pleasure. It's a pleasure checking out your film. It's going to be a bigger pleasure speaking about it tonight. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
And they may or may not have had their cups of coffee yet, JC. It's 9 a.m. where they're at. So
holy hell.
Desmond said he just rolled out of bed just in time.
It's 8 p.m. here in Music City.
That's right.
It's okay. I got my coffee next to me. Yeah.
There you go.
Fantastic. All right, so here we go. Let's start it off with introductions here. If you're looking at the screen, our bottom right, there's a Mr. Dizzy. Dizzy, tell us who you are, the role you play, and a little bit of background on yourself.
Okay, for this particular film, co-producer, which means I'm the poor guy who has to do just about everything. Also the script editor, because we had to Aussiefy the script a little bit there, and also played a role inside the film as well.
A very fantastic role.
Fantastic role.
It came in. The timing that you enter into the film is perfect.
Right. Just after the luxury cars, of course. You know.
Right.
Oh, you guys noticed that, yeah.
Dude, it was hard not to notice. It was like being outside of the PF Chang's in like downtown San Francisco, which is why he's rocking the Golden Gate Bridge right now.
Oh, you know? Fantastic.
You can see the Lambos pulling behind him right now as we speak.
Oh, I had to mask my room a bit.
Yeah, exactly. I got you.
No worries. No worries. I'm rocking the horror films to my left. I'm rocking the poster to the right. That's how I roll up in Music City.
I've got that collection too, but it's in the next room. So
oh, there you go.
Nice.
Exactly.
So we'll get to Rizal in just a moment. Mr. Desmond Hew, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and how you play a role in Lurking Woods.
Well, I went to the college where I studied film, of course, and that's when I learned the filmmaking process, particularly writing. I actually aspired to be a director, but they always kept saying that the storytelling is the most important aspect of it. So that's when I got into writing. Not long after that, I got in touch with the producer, Rod Manikam, who's the producer of Lurking Woods. And he asked me to write a slasher film for this, and that's what I did. I'm basically the primary writer. Came up with the concept and all. I'm sort of also like a sub-editor on the film, the sort of like splice in extra things, extra little touches and all that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Rizal. Rise. Big rise. How we doing?
Early.
It's too no. Tell us who Rizal is and who he is in this film.
Okay, basically for Lurking Woods, I'm the director and the associate producer. And I've been into the industry since 1987.
What a great year.
What were you like? What were you like? 6 years old? 7 years old?
Scaring the hell out of his parents.
I'm 50. I'm going to be 50 this year.
Okay.
So
Rizal telling the big lies tonight on Brown Horrors Behind the Horror.
Exactly.
So-
I mean, come on, buddy.
so
You can tell us the truth.
yeah. So I started my career as an actor, as a stuntman, and did lead of writing as well for those TV dramas and series and so on. And I've been acting into a lot of film, and also just an extras for Hollywood movies as well, like Anna and the King and Beyond Rangoon. And after that, I did my acting in a Russian movie. It's an action-packed apocalypse code. And
Did you
a
say
lot more,
stuntman?
so-
Did he say stuntman
Yeah.
in there?
I think he was
Yes,
the
yes.
stuntman for Disney's version of James Bond.
Right. Hey, what's going on here?
Used to last time.
Tell us about that for a sec.
You mean as a stuntman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Don't meet
So,
many stuntmen on a horror
Lo-
indie podcast, okay? Not many.
local movie.
Okay.
For Malaysian local movie, and also I did stunt for one Hollywood movie, Beyond Rangoon, the one with the end scene, with the explosion on the bridge. So I happen to be one of the guys who walk just beside the bomb. I'm still alive, luckily.
Nice.
You made it. You made it out. We're really
Made it all
proud
the
of
way
you,
to
Rizal.
Lurking Woods.
We're Hey, we're really proud. No, guys,
Awesome.
I mean,
Right.
yeah, I mean, we're really, obviously excited to have you guys here. One of the things that we do here on Brown Horror is we try to break the ice. We definitely want to have a free flowing conversation. One of the things that we talk about, obviously, is independent films, which is why we have you guys here, because we are truly, madly, deeply in love with independent films. We love to see you guys do, what you do and the hard work that goes behind it, because typically the people that we meet on here are, they're recording films in 3 days. They're, pushing themselves to meet a deadline so that they can hit costs that are below budget. And really just, how it's perceived out there in the world right now for us is that we feel like you guys finally have a good, leg to stand on right now, because one of the things that we talk about a lot is with everybody not being able to release in theaters and release, so quickly these big major budget films, you guys are kind of on a level playing ground right now, and we want to see some of these independent films come to the forefront, because we know just as well as everybody else that, you guys work just as hard, if not harder, to make things work and get it on tape as quick as you possibly can, with these fantastic scripts that some of them aren't even heard of. And we want to get those things out there. So we definitely appreciate you guys. Just a little icebreaker here for everybody. We're going to run through a little bit of horror movie trivia, because Desmond here thinks that he's the king of all movies. He has a movie room like JC. So he's going
All right.
He's going to tell us everything. And then Dizzy, for you, we'll break off into a little Daniel Craig trivia, just so that we know that you can live up to the title. Okay. So JC, if you want to take it away, ask them guys some questions, make them hard, because because Desmond knows everything, and we want to see what we got.
As he opens up Google right now.
No, we have a horror movie box.
Got some messages here.
All right. I'm shuffling, and here's the card. Are you ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
I think my mom called me.
That's scary. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Question 1. This is going to be for Desmond.
Mm-hmm.
The brain of the monster in Frankenstein, released in 1931, is obtained from which of the following places? A graveyard, a university, a prison, or morgue?
Whoa. I happen to not be one of the black and white dudes. My guess would be the graveyard.
Would anyone like to steal?
Oh. Well,
Rizal.
no.
Rizal.
Yeah, the same question, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to steal the question?
The monk.
Wrong. We're going to toss that question out. It was the university, actually.
You got to be
Oh,
smart
okay,
to be Frankenstein. You can't just.
He was a professor.
Dr. Frankenstein, yeah.
You can't throw a dead man's brain in there. It's not going to work.
Right.
Oh,
Come on,
I
Rise.
thought the monsters.
He
Easy.
said the monsters. No.
Fred
That's
Gwynn
a
got
different
his
show, sir.
Fred Gwynn. He's talking about Fred Gwynn.
Rizal
Okay.
just showed his age. He was like, the monsters?
Don't blame me because it's too early.
Okay.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what it is.
too early for me too. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do all right, this was gonna be for Dizzy. What special effects artist created the werewolf transformation scene in An American Werewolf in London, 1981?
I know the answer.
What?
I know the answer.
Come on, Dizzy.
Nothing for Dizzy. Nothing for Dizzy. All right, who wants to steal?
Desmond said
It's,
he knows the answer.
I believe it's Rick Baker.
Rick Baker is it. Holy cow. Desmond on the board.
Wow.
Yeah, he won an Academy Award for that one.
My man.
It actually says that on here. He
Oh,
won the
cool.
Academy Award for Best Makeup.
That's-
Fantastic.
That's pretty awesome.
All right, here we go.
Rizal.
All right. In Nosferatu, 1922, what is the name of the sinister
What?
vampire of the film?
What? Again?
He
What?
does- he said-
I only know what it
he
looks
said-
like.
He said, "Could we start with films in this century, please?" All right.
All right. I'm gonna give him a curveball. Okay, Rizal, here's your curveball.
Yes.
All right, here's your slow pitch. What is the name of the in-universe film series based on the events of the Scream series? So in Scream, there's a set of films that are being filmed based off the Woodsboro murders. What is that set of films called? The what series? You guys just made a slasher flick called Lurking Woods. We need to know this.
No idea.
This is
I-
fairly
you know
disappointing,
that-
JC.
Well, okay, wait. I'll let Rizal have his chance.
No, I don't have the idea. What
Desmond?
is that? Desmond, no. Yes.
No, actually, maybe I don't. But I'm thinking of the remix of within the story itself. It's not the Stab, is it?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Oh, really? I
The
thought it
Stab
was the other-
series.
Okay, right. The Stab series.
All right,
Wow.
Desmond is on the board with 2. Okay, it's the best of 3. Okay, so here we go.
Lightning round.
Lightning round. This is to win all of the bragging rights. This automatically makes you win the game. Okay, that's how we play at Brown Mint Horror. You know, the points are made up and the game doesn't matter.
Is this a James Bond question? Because if it is, Dizzy's automatically eliminated.
Okay.
If it is, Darryl is probably going to get it.
Right.
Oh, here we go. Okay,
All right.
RL. This is an RL question. He'll love this one. Don't answer, RL.
All right.
All right. What surgical instrument does the resurrected Gage Creed steal from his father to commit the murders in Pet Cemetery 1989?
I'll take a stab in the dark and say it was a scalpel.
So the correct answer is also the weapon of choice in Halloween 2 for Michael Myers. And it is Dizzy's answer, a scalpel. Let's go. Dizzy wins
Dizzy
the
wins
whole
it
thing.
all.
Yeah.
Your Aston Martin is on its way.
Yep. We'll be sending you a
Aston
Lambo in the mail. If the postage is right, it should make it there in the next year or two.
A 50-cent stamp should get it, I'm pretty sure.
That's what I'm thinking. Well, guys, we appreciate you joining us in the Brown Mint Horror Trivia round. Sorry, Rizal, that we made you look like you don't know anything about horror films.
Yeah.
It was very sad.
Only specific film that I watch.
Tell
okay,
check this out. Rizal.
No.
Rizal.
So tell me this. What is your favorite horror film? We don't do this because this is kind of cheesy for us. We don't deep dive into your favorite horror film, but now I got to know because you didn't know Pet Sematary. So tell me a little bit about it. What's your favorite horror film?
I watched Pet Sematary, but then I watched the new version. Of course,
the remake.
The remake. Yes.
Okay.
But you're making me sad a little bit, but that's fine.
And then I love Alien.
Oh,
it's sci-fi horror. Yeah.
RL does not like Alien. He cannot get behind it sci-fi. He hates it.
This hurt my soul right now. This man just made a slasher film. We're talking about Alien right now?
Well, actually, Alien is like a slasher.
Desmond, do not back this up. Do not back this up right now.
Here's the thing: RL's going to punch me because I feel like Terminator is a slasher film.
That's right. That's also right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to join you guys.
Things are getting out of hand around here. Desmond, what's your favorite horror film?
I have to say that one of the best that I've seen is Lurking
Woods.
It's
yeah. You know what? Dizzy,
favorite one. It's a tie. It's a tie between Halloween or The Thing, and ironically, they're both John Carpenter.
Dizzy's like my favorite Halloween horror film is Lurking Woods. Shameless plug.
I mean, how many Australian horror films have you seen?
I mean, offhand, one Wolf Creek.
Yeah, Wolf Creek. Yes.
Yeah. And then just to Wolf Creek 2. That's all I can go. That's all I can do. Australian horror. That would be a good subgenre for us to investigate. We're going to notate that Australian horror. We're going to bring Dizzy back. Circle around to that.
Yep.
Dizzy, your favorite horror film?
To be honest, I'd have to go all the way back to, I think it was a Friday.
And I think the date 2021.
Friday the 13th. Okay.
I can get behind that. I mean,
so
I was never a big Friday the 13th fan, but I will give you that it is more slasher horror than Alien. Okay.
It's definitely more slasher than Terminator.
I mean, we were watching some tidbits of RoboCop the other day, and I guess you would consider that a slasher horror film.
Not at all. That's a revenge film. No. That's a revenge film,
right?
Vendetta.
This is the funny thing, way back, we're talking a long time ago. There was like 4 or 5 genres of film. Same as music. There's only 4 or 5 genres of music. Now, for music, there's like something like 1,300 genres of music. Film has become the same thing because I think, like us, the indie films come out and we've taken something and put a bit of a twist on it. Now it's become a double genre film. Right. So for people to sit back and say, "Oh, it's a slasher," no, it's a thriller, no, it's a horror. It's a kind of let's throw it all in together and call it a new genre.
Australian /horror. I mean, Australian slasher. I mean, I can't name anything more than Wolf Creek, to be honest. Really, I can't. So this is definitely going to be filed away in there. So now I can tell people I know 2 Australian horror films.
That's it.
I mean, so
I just need to interject for a moment. I have to send the apologies for our producer Rod Manicum. He would have loved to have been on this video with you guys, but he's sitting in a pre-production of our next film. So he does send his sincere apologies. He's a little bit busy at the moment.
Understood.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you very much. We would like to use this section to piggyback and make a way into the next section of this film. We're talking about our favorite horror films. We're talking about Australian slashers. Let's start at the beginning. How did Lurking Woods come to start? Who wants to tell us that story?
Izzy, you want to start with this one?
Okay. With Robin Pictures, what we're trying to do is not lock ourselves into any particular genre. So Lurking Woods is our third film, the third feature film. First one come out was a pure action. Second one come out was actually a horror as well. But then this one, we wanted to move it more away from strict horror. Like our second film, Infected Paradise, was zombie. So let's move away from that and go into something a bit different. So Rod decided that, okay, let's walk into a different area, and then contacted Desmond. Desmond come up with this awesome script. One of the very few scripts that I haven't had to edit too much at all. So we sat there, we looked at the script and we thought, this is perfect. Now, how can we adapt it into our way of filming? We don't like to do stereotypical type films. We always like to put a twist in our films. You know, so everything is different. And at the same time, we want to encapsulate what Western Australia has to offer.
Yeah.
So by scenery, by city, kind of not tourism type stuff, but we want the audience to look at what Australia has got. Because not a lot of people get the opportunity to travel all the way down under. So like for you guys, it's, you know, we're talking about a 20-hour flight, you know, it's a long way to go. So at least the American, the North American, Canadian, all of these people can actually see what Australia looks like. So that's what we put into this film. And then of course we use all local actors, try to give them a little bit of exposure. We go above and beyond just let's do a movie and move on to the next one.
Right. I think that's very, I think that's prevalent in, we're not going to give away any spoilers here, but it's very prevalent that you put your own twist. Basically, fans can read the synopsis of the film on Midnight Releasing's website, but essentially, folks, what you have is, you know, a set of mid-20-somethings that are spending a weekend in a cabin. They're on holiday, and the girls decide to do a little bit of a treasure hunt for the guys to help them figure out who they get to spend the weekend with, their holiday with. So I've never seen that. I've never seen the girls initiate a thing for the guys to go do. And that was a great setup. It's like, okay, how are you going to get these people killed?
I think I think too, JC, like one of the things I like what he said is that, you know, one of the things that we hit on with our independent folks is that, you know, I think they hit on it last segment that we did as well, was that, you know, you obviously have your circle of people that you work with that obviously you guys gel very well together. Because I mean, when I watched this film, and something that JC and I had talked about before we jumped on was, you know, we could definitely tell the mesh between the actors in this film. A lot of times when you watch independent films where they're grasping at people, obviously, especially like, I'm sure if I watched the first of the 3 films that you guys did, you can tell the difference between people once they've worked together for a certain period of time. And watching you guys in this third film, it really stands out to me that the camaraderie that you guys have with working together, the way that, you know, the guys and gals really work off each other in the film, I think is very stand out to me. I mean, I thought that it meshed really well together, as well as like you were saying, Dizzy. I mean, you know, as you guys go on with this set of films that you're doing, you know, it definitely stands out to me. It's almost like, you know, you watch like a, I don't know, if you were to watch a soap opera or a new TV series, you know, you watch that pilot episode and you're sitting there thinking like, I'm not sure if this one's really going to make the cut.
Yeah.
But it gets a pass, right? Because it's the pilot, gets a pass, and then 5 or 6 episodes in, you really start watching these people meld together and start to make a show that stand out.
Well, that's very true. You can see it. It doesn't matter whether it's an indie style or whether it's the top level sort of Hollywood. Even like all of these actors, none of them knew each other. You know, and we actually punched this film out in 9 days. We were.
Wow.
It was like, you know, and what made it even more difficult, apart from the car scene, we're in the bush, and that was an hour's drive.
Yeah.
You know, hour's drive from Perth, city of Perth. So every day there's you got that hour drive. You got to get up early. You got to get out there. And for the top echelon of this film, we were burning the candle at both ends, and we did that all the way through. And it was just punch, 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 you know, to kick it out. And then on the last day, Mother Nature decided to have a bit of a game with us. So it really threw things off a bit, you know, for Rizal as the director coming in. You know, we got everything done. It was beautiful sunny days every day, except for that last day. And then when you know you've got backward scenes to do, it's kind of like, oh, now the continuity, we think it's going to go out the window, but it didn't. You know, we just got the right time, the right footage, and you know, with the team that we had, and we actually still have, worked beautifully. You know, and as producers, you rely so heavily on your crew and your cast because they make that film. You know, you do all the hard yards, you do all the organizing, you do all the scheduling, everything else. You're on set, making sure everyone's happy, which is never an easy job. But at the end of the day, it's that cast and that crew that have put all this together. You know, and I've seen some films and some high budget films, you know, where you sit back and go, wow, you're a director? Well, you know what? Who gave you that job? You know, who gave you that title? Because sadly, there's just some poor quality films out there. But to me, it's what that crew can do. And when you watch them work, you know, it's like everyone's mulling around, sitting around, having a chat, having their coffee, but the crew is over there, you know, bop, 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 work.
Right.
You know, so we always take our hat off to our crew. You know, they work very hard. And now like you said, over this seasons of doing different films, our main crew has really come together very, very, very tight. Because when we film, we like to treat everybody as a family. You know, so you've got that camaraderie, you've got that appreciation, you've got that respect with everybody. So it helps that movie flow through quite nicely.
Fantastic. That's good words. The camaraderie thing, that aspect of getting everyone together, get everyone as a unit, making that come off on screen, on a low budget with local actors, has to be hard, has to be difficult. I think that, you know, and just to go back to what RL was saying about how this didn't, you know, we've said this time and time again, luckily, because of the films that we've been sent, you know, this didn't feel like an indie film, all the way from the special effects for the stab scenes and, you know, the kill scenes, and all the way to the camaraderie. Unfortunately, some independent film producers and filmmakers don't have what you guys had. And we've watched films, not necessarily ones that we've interviewed, but we have watched them recently where you can just see something was thrown together. There was no chemistry, and they're very, very, very hard to watch. And, you know, but they're on their way. I mean, everybody has to learn. But you guys, I think, taking it seriously, those just key aspects of make sure the cast has camaraderie and chemistry, and let's treat this as if it was big budget, as if this was our last flick, as if this is what we have to show the world. Hey, this is what we got. And I think you guys did that with Lurking Woods.
Yeah, showing the world. That's what I would say too.
I think with all production companies. Sorry, Desmond, go.
You were right. JC, about us showing the world of what we could do. That was how I approached the script. Because needless to say, there were so many slashes by the time we did ours, and it was right. I had to come up with a interesting sort of premise, which you mentioned, that the girls sort of offer up a treasure hunt for the guys in the forest. Yeah, because the very first question on my mind was, well, everyone knows this is a slasher, so that's not a spoiler. Is that why are the killings happening? How can it be different from all the others? I mean, my parameters were, yes, it's a bunch of teenagers in the woods. That's it. And from there, try to invent something that's very different. So yeah, I would say, yeah, the backstory of it was the most complicated to come up with. I should add that I was asked to come up with a script in basically just over 2 weeks. And I actually originally had a completely different concept as to how the premise would take place. That took away 4 days because I had to just conceive it. And our producer, Rod Manikam, said he wanted it to be more down to earth. And I think in hindsight, he was right. So
with all the little modern touches.
So Rob is, but just to touch base too, for everybody who watches the film, you guys will be able to get out there and watch this. We'll put some links in here as well for people to get out there and rent the movie, buy the movie, everything. But Rob is he's the hitchhiker, right? In the film?
Rod, yes, Rod Manikam, he is the hitchhiker.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I was just making
guess
sure.
This is a cameo.
I thought that's who it was. I was just making sure, but you know, I think it's cool. I think one of the things that we touched base on back in our very first Behind the Horror, one of the first things that we did, we did a talk with the guys from Dead Again, and those guys, you know, something that we talked about is the hats that you guys wear. I think it's funny when, you know, Dizzy, you introduce yourself, Rizal, Desmond, you guys introduce yourself. We're like, okay, so what did you guys have to do with the film? And Dizzy's like, well, let's see. I was the guy who got the water. I was the guy who produced the film. I was the guy who I did this, I did this, I did this, I did that. You know, and I think that's one of the things that we talk about a lot in independent films is that, you know, when you're getting into filmmaking and you're getting ready to put that film on paper and start really digging deep on what you're willing to do to put this film out, you really need to start looking inside yourself and talking to yourself and thinking about how far are you willing to go? What jobs are you willing to learn? Because, you know, the guys from Dead Again, some of the things they said was, one of the guys was like, yeah, I did lighting, I did producing, I was an actor, I blah, 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 blah. And so he put that stuff out there. And, you know, don't forget where you came from when you start putting these films out, guys, because these folks work their asses off tirelessly to wear 9 different hats in, you know, Dizzy was saying, you know, you recorded in 9 days. So what are you willing to do to put that film on paper and put it out there? And so, you know, it's impressive for me and JC. We're, you know, we love film. We love, you know, obviously physical content. And so we love owning it and holding it. One of the things that JC said is when we take that DVD out of the case and we put it in the DVD player, one of the things that we think about is how hard people had to work to put it on that DVD for us to get it. And so that's the reason why we do Behind the Horror, the reason why we support independent films, because we know the hats you guys are wearing. We've never done it. But just in the few recordings that we've done and edited and made happen, we know how hard it is for you guys to hit budget and really dig deep and make those things happen. And so, you know, kudos to you guys. We're really impressed by what you did. And, you know, obviously we love the film. So that's all I got.
Rizal,
what we find is one of the key points is as simple as the word passion. You've got passion for making this film, and everybody that's there on set shares that passion. You know, this is not a big blockbuster where you walk in and say, all right, give me 20 million, I'll do my 10 minutes on set, and I've got my little caravan, you know, I've got all of this, and then you're gone. That's all well and good if your budget's 400 million, you know, but when your budget's so low, I don't know, for me, I love acting and I love making films. You know, I love writing them. I love acting them in them. I mean, I'm not getting any younger, so I want to try and push more and more and more. But so the biggest, it's passion. And
well, you don't ever see You don't ever see us interviewing people. Well, I have a garage door behind me just in case everybody needs to see. But and JC can attest to this. I haven't jumped on an interview where I've seen like, $3 million worth of sofas behind everybody, right? Like we're all like stuck in our little spot. Like
the case full of Rolexes and tags and Omegas.
JC is probably, JC and Rizal, they have the most expensive backdrops. Rizal's got the MacBook in the back. JC's got 10 grand worth of movies that he got for 25 cents a piece. Like this is as big as we get, and so I think a lot of times people think that, it's all glitz and glamour. And for us, it's really nice to show it ain't that. It ain't that, folks. If you're not into making films and just have the passion and the love for making a movie, you're probably in the wrong business because
it's like
Rizal, I want to talk to Rizal real quick.
All right, go ahead.
Got something to say to him. And it's based off of what we're talking about right now. But, I think back to Halloween, John Carpenter, and how his passion was he wanted to make Western films, and how Halloween was basically it was a job. Mm-hmm. It was a job to try to get some more money to go do what he wanted to do. So, Rizal, tell us, you directed this film. You were at the helm, the director's role. Tell us about your experience, some pain points, some good parts. Walk us through Lurking Woods as a director.
Okay, actually, the time that we met, I met Rod. Basically, actually, we are friends like years ago when we do act in one of the movies. So we don't talk about making movies for quite a long period of time. In fact, the whole time we haven't talked about making movies together. Yeah, I heard him doing some movies in Australia, but there's no indication that, okay, Rizal, you're going to be the next director. No. So only at one time that one of my short film was screened in Cannes Film Festival back in 2014. Mm-hmm. 2014, and he found out, he watched it, and a week after that he called me and he said, "Hey, why didn't you just come down and jump into the director's chair?" Oh, okay,
nice.
Yeah. So then he set the date where he flew down to Malaysia and meet up with me and Desmond. That's where I get to know Desmond.
Nice.
And yeah, so when I first met Desmond, he introduced him as a writer, and I look at him, are you really a writer?
Then, by that point, I've written for almost 10 years already. So yeah.
Yeah. Script writer, we don't know, right? We don't know.
Yeah, it's hard
who
to
they
tell.
are. Yeah, hard to tell. So
yeah.
Then we discussed on making action flick, right? Action film.
Yeah.
Then after that, then we discussed about how to get the funds. Then I said to Rod, this is not going to happen. So might as well we do something smaller with a few cast. And I think that's where Lurking Woods was born. Then Desmond said, okay, I'll come up with one story and give me like 1 week. Right, Desmond?
Well,
then,
it was over 2 weeks, like I said. Yeah, I mean, you guys didn't know that I came up with one concept that Rod, as I said, wanted it to be more down to earth. So I had to come up with 2 stories, so to speak. 2 stories, and still within 2 weeks. So I only came up with a concept a few days later, and basically only had over a week just to actually write the script. The thing is that writing the actual script isn't always the one that's so long. The one that comes before it is writing the outline from beginning, middle, and what happens then. That's the one that takes the longest to figure out. Yeah.
Then we when the time came for shoot the film, and I have like 2 weeks to spend, but then all the actors and the crews, they only have like 9 days. So I think Dizzy and Rod design the schedule in such a way that everybody fits in for 9 days. Okay, the best thing is about Lurking Woods, I have to push myself filming for 9 days and 8 hours, or 10 hours max on set, because they're all happening in daytime.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So yeah, and I found it a bit difficult because to make a movie, a horror movie that happened in daytime is very, very hard, because most of the horror movie, they play around with the darkness, the lights and
the shadow,
the
Right.
shadows, the sound effects and everything, right? So to tell you the truth, for Lurking Woods, I don't have any storyboards. I don't do storyboards. Okay.
So it was all a mental shot list.
Yes.
In your mind.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I learned filmmaking. I learned filmmaking not at film school, but at the cinemas. The cinemas are the films are my teachers. You see.
Yeah.
So when I watch movies, and I bear in mind and take a note that I don't want my movie to be like that.
Rizal, I bet you collect Criterion films, don't you?
They're kind of like a rare gem in Malaysia. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've got the Criterion RoboCop, by the way.
Yeah.
What?
The top shelf up here is all Criterion films.
Serious.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you know
USA.
Right.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
It's crazy, I was actually I watched you guys. I watched Lurking Woods a couple of different times, but watched it all the way through today and doing a little background. And, I was looking at Tainted Getaway.
Getaway.
I know that's one of the films that's kind of in this realm with, you, Desmond, Dizzy, Rizal. I know you guys are all kind of part of that. And, I think that one of the things that stands out to me is it's funny because you look at one of the things we joke about a lot on here is we look at IMDb, right? You look at,
just Google.
You get to looking at you'll click on view cast or view whatever. And I think one of the things that stood out to me the most about this whole thing was, granted, don't get me wrong, there are people on IMDb that you guys are related to that have their photos. But I think one of the greatest things to me was today when I searched Lurking Woods and I searched Tainted Getaway,
there's no pictures.
There is not a single picture.
Well, we didn't know who we were about to talk to.
Right. I mean, and come on, guys. I mean, obviously, with Desmond, we kind of get it. But Dizzy, it says Dizzy and IMDb, right? I'm like, okay.
Dizzy.
So we've all seen the movie. So I'm like, who's about to jump on this camera? And then Dizzy's photo is blacked out on Zoom for 10 minutes as he's trying to log on. So I'm like, okay. I mean, what are we about to do here? Is this gonna be good? And he jumps on and he's like, yeah, I'm the Australian Daniel Craig. I'm like,
exactly.
I didn't say that. He said that.
No, Rizal said that.
I look at him. He's a Daniel Craig.
Everybody is like, hold on a second. He said, what now? No, but it's great because, we run into that a lot of times with the interviews that we're doing. And I think that's the greatest thing. I think probably the only relation with mega film stuff that I saw out of all that was your main actor that kind of acts like a badass, Mike Coward. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Mark?
Troy Coward, yeah.
Troy Coward, the character, Troy Coward, yeah. That's the actor's name.
He did a film with the girl who was the main actor in 13 Reasons.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
Back a couple years ago or something.
Yeah, I actually talked to the director on that.
That's literally the only tie-in that I saw, which was fantastic because usually we'll be researching these films and I'm like, oh, this person did, I think we did an interview a couple of weeks ago with a guy who literally had voiceovers in 19 kids movies.
That would have been Jan Birch.
Jan Birch, Jan, don't kill me. I'm just bringing it up that the fact
He is the
that
Swedish. He's the Swedish Kevin Sorbo. If you know who Hercules is from the United States.
Yeah, it was. Yes.
Go back and watch episode 4 of Behind the Horror, and you'll see. Just watch a few seconds, and you'll understand exactly what we're talking about.
But we always have a tie-in, and I think that was really cool this time. That I didn't have a clue who was jumping on. JC, I don't know about you, but I was like, and Desmond pops up at first. I thought it was funny that Desmond's placeholder is a picture of himself. So like when he popped up, he popped up in his own place. It was like he swapped. It was the most fantastic thing I've ever seen in my life.
Desmond had to go above and beyond with the special effects just for Zoom.
Right. I was
that's right.
And then he went all like, San Francisco, Golden Gate Bridge, like The Rock, Nicolas Cage in the background. You know what I'm saying? It was,
The Rock.
Spooked me out a little bit. But, that's what's great about these interviews that we do. We love this part of it. Just not knowing who we're going to talk to and talk about these great films is awesome. And so Dizzy, tell us, obviously without spoiling anything, tell us about what your character is, which we all know what it is. Tell us about your character and
how would you describe him?
Describe your character to us, sir.
Well, so talking, and
you have to talk like your character while you do it.
Talking to all your fan base in America, I won't be rude, but it's a little bit redneck. So you can say.
You say that out loud, sir.
In Australia, we call them bogans.
What?
Are we rednecks?
Hey, Darryl.
Minus the Halim.
In Australia, we call this type of person a bogan. The bogans are, you could say, a bit uneducated. They don't hold their P's and Q's. They just let it out. A little bit of a foul mouth, everything about them is just very, very rough, So
your
that was
girlfriend, your wife in the film was even more hilarious, but obviously we couldn't have her on.
That's what I heard. Whenever she talked, I heard.
Please stop. Dude, I could not pay attention to anything other than her mouth. I was like, I don't know. Is she speaking English or
how much Cockney is in this Australian accent?
And then
I'll tell you now.
Then they get to the cleaner. Then they get to the cleaner. It's like, hold on. They're like, oh yeah, Susie's up there at the hill cleaning your room right now. And by God, she's the cleanest of us all. And you get up there and it's like the cleaning lady's like straight out of like a Penthouse magazine. You're like, what's happening here exactly?
She's like, she sachets out of the cabin like,
full of surprises,
she's
right?
Doing the shoulders. And she's like, I got your house all clean, guys. It's perfect. It was just that scene for me was like, if you weren't motivated to watch the hilariousness of this film in the first 4 minutes, the next 5 minutes are what really draws you in, and then you have to watch it. You have to.
Well, this is something we always try and do with our film. It doesn't matter how serious that film is. You've just got to throw in that little bit of comedy, And what's really awesome is when the film comes to screen, you have your premiere and you sit back and people are there laughing their heads off. It's like, okay,
exactly.
Now I feel good. All that hard work, all that blood, sweat, tears, all of that pays off when you sit down and you listen to the audience reactions in the cinema.
Listen, Dizzy,
we should have.
I can attest to that. We
should have been at the premiere, JC.
Listen, I can totally attest to that. For I think it was my 29th birthday, I got to go see Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, at the Belcourt Theater here in Nashville, Tennessee. It was a repertoire theater. It was fantastic. Everyone's seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Okay. The character Franklin in the wheelchair, he's very whiny. He whines the entire time until he gets sawn in half.
It's going to be a fun trip. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So when Franklin came on screen, every time Franklin was on screen, there was nothing but laughter in the entire theater. If someone was standing outside and didn't know what was playing inside, they would have thought we were watching a comedy.
Yeah.
But that is just to attest to inserting that little bit of comedy inside of horror. Right. In addition to the horror that you walk away with, and you remember the comedy bits as well. Yeah. And from 1974 till now, I mean, it's comedic gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true what Dizzy said. They had to inject some humor in it, because what I tend to do is I write things a little too serious. So it's true. Yeah, they had to add in some little bits here and all that. Yeah, as he mentioned, he's the co-script editor, so he added those little touches just to lighten the mood and all that. Yeah.
So Rizal, when you were directing Dizzy's girlfriend in this film,
yes,
did you tell her to act that way, or did she just go, okay, I can do, I can, yeah.
Or did you walk out of the room and say, do your thing? Like,
did she walk into the casting call and go, hello, Rizal, I know that?
Definitely no. When I did the Looking Woods, okay, that's the best thing about making Looking Woods. I try to highlight all those those characters with one scene and two scene more noticeable than as walking background extras. You see?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So as you can see in Looking Woods, there's the characters are so lively and so like themselves. You see, but not. Dizzy is not like that. Vivian is not like that, actually. And on set, I told Dizzy to be rough. I want to be like something like a cowboy thing. And even Vivian, his girlfriend.
You say her name is Vivian?
He's a vegan.
Not vegan. Vegan something else.
I ain't never seen
Vivian.
I ain't never seen no Vivian that talks like that. I can tell you that.
Yeah. So when I said, Vivian, after you say this line, you need to speed. They said, what? Speed? Yes, speed. Then
spit.
And
yeah.
She don't even she don't even have an idea what I'm trying to visualize. Then right after the movie was completed and shown on the big screen, and she said, oh, okay, this is what happening. This is I like, And I love Dizzy's characters, Vivian's characters, the cleaners characters. They're brilliant. I love it so much. And even the guy who chopped
chops the wood.
Chops the wood. So I tried. Yeah, I tried to bring the to make the audience startle in every scene. I try. Even
when
when
you talk about a slasher film, you always want to paralyze the audience with every character, because you're trying to throw their scent off of who the killer is. Like, who's the killer? Like, the whole
couldn't
film,
it all be Dizzy?
Yeah, you're sitting here you're thinking, okay, well, it's a crazy guy who owns the place. No, it's the crazy guy who never gets to talk to anybody. Of course, he killed everyone.
So you sure it's not the guy with the axe?
Yes, right, exactly.
And,
so
this is the whole idea. I mean, I've seen a lot of horror films where within that first 5 minutes you go, there's your killer.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get to the end, they're the killer. It's just too obvious. So why waste your money making a movie where in the first 5 minutes you've just given it all away?
Right.
So
that was the toughest thing to come up with, and it can only come up when you've seen an exhaustive amount of slasher films. Yeah. I saw a lot of them, even like Sleepaway Camp. You can sort of guess it. You can sort of guess it, but the huge extra reveal is worth the extra $20.
Yes,
the extra
reveal. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about it is that
I wanted something like that for this one.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like,
we got a little something.
Oh, we got
not
something.
that. We got a couple of things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was definitely like a slasher. in this
But you know,
flick.
I think the thing
Thanks.
about it was Desmond is that, you know, when you add those extra people in, I mean, just like you said, I mean, yeah, you could have made this whole film with just those 6 people, 7 people, 8 people, whatever, who are out camping together, and it could have went, you know, a totally different way. But by adding in those just few 4 or 5 characters right there at the beginning and really throwing us a curveball at like, oh hell, they're like in the most redneck of situations to they walk out, they see this house and they're like, bump up. Not to mention, I'm not sure who put the bathtub with the motor on it outside and called it a hot tub. That was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life. That's like me and JC trying to fit in the tub together. Like, I don't know what we're getting at there.
Wouldn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
I'll give you a little bit of behind the scenes on that particular scene.
That was
Put
what
yourself,
Dizzy
picture
mentioned.
this, right? You're out in the bush. You've got a hot tub there that isn't hot. We're sitting in temperature of about 18 degrees.
Yes, really cold.
Imagine the water. So all these bikini-clad girls and the boys, they all get into this hot tub that's actually like an ice bath.
Wow.
And if you look
Dizzy's
closely,
like, if that was a hot tub scene, I would have been written in it. Okay, there's no way I'm leaving myself out of this. Okay, but since the water was cold, he's not in. He's like, no, I'm out.
Actually, on the scene,
the water is cold.
Yeah, actually on that scene, I don't expect that kind of tub. Then when I asked Dizzy, "Where's the tub?" That's the tub. And I said, "Seriously? How are we going to fit in?" Dude, so that's the best tub that we have.
JC has a bigger tub than that in his basement.
That is only a 2-person tub, you know.
Yeah, but it turns out well, right? It turns out well.
No,
yeah,
that is it fit the scene, honestly.
Yeah, that's an example of the crew, Dizzy. They're all making use of what was in the location and making something out of it. Yeah, you see, because originally in the script it was some sort of a lake, but this is where they got creative and made use of what was already there.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was very good. Very good.
So basically we've had our trivia, we've had our, big backgrounds, and, you guys are just as big of characters as the people that you've portrayed and what you've done with the film. It's been a pleasure speaking to all of you. Here at the end of Behind the Horror, what we always like to do is we like to just go around and ask everybody and let everybody give an answer to this question.
Oh,
if you could talk and speak to someone here in our city, or an upcoming filmmaker, or a wannabe filmmaker, or an upcoming actor in the independent world, what advice would you give them? Desmond, what would you say to them? Upcoming writer.
Yeah. Be passionate. Remember your idols. Continue to be inspired. Always look at movies that inspire you to make you want to go right, and get the ideas out from your head and onto paper.
Nice.
Stay hungry.
Awesome. Rizal, what would you say to an upcoming wannabe director?
Okay, my advice to them, actually, each of us is a director. Okay, so just the passion is the key for you to drive you to make a movie. Watch a lot of movies, get the ideas from there, and thanks to the technology we have, as simple as the cell phone to make a movie nowadays is really simple compared to myself last time when I was like a teenager, that I have to steal my father's 8mm and make a really short film and all this kind of stuff, and borrow my friend's VHS camera and do those kind of things, those crazy things. And just go out there and shoot everything that you can, and Plus, another thing is try to take a look on those photographies, still photographies magazine, the shots and everything. Try to adapt the shots to make it nicer, even though if the story is not nice, but the audience will be captured with all those, nice shots. So that's how you steal it. And then after that, only then you blend in with the characters, the characters.
Right on.
Try to boost the character, even though they are extras.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rizal. Dizzy, leave us some words of wisdom.
Okay, for any aspiring actors out there, if you're doing it for money, stop now. Because there's not big money in this game. It takes time. Do it, as Desmond said, definitely do it with passion. Do it for the love of the acting. And audition. Just keep going at it. Try, you're going to fail. You'll try, you fail, you try, you fail. But then every now and then that success comes in, and who knows? You could be the next Hollywood actor. You don't know. Many actors out there have come from absolutely nowhere, never seen before on the screen ever. And now, there's some of the biggest stars, the world's got. So just get in there. Don't be shy. Do it, but definitely do it with passion. If you don't have love for it, just please, as producer, don't audition.
There you go.
I tell you, JC, I hear that every single time we get on here is, Graham Jenkins, he said it, Tony, Fadal said it, now Dizzy said it, get out there and audition. If you have the passion, if you have the drive, if you have the want to, minus the looking at filling your wallet, jump out there, take a chance,
and start working on a film. Start help out on one. Start doing something. Learn how to do everything. You don't know where your passion may actually lie. You want to be an actor, great, but learn something else, and you may find that maybe you have a real eye for maybe that aspect of it, and you can contribute in a much greater way.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, another thing is I would like to thanks to you guys for liking Lurking Woods. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
Coming.
Yeah. Same here.
I expect this movie if it's draws a lot of crowd and everything, and maybe we could do part 2 of Lurking Woods.
Oh, okay, a sequel.
Yeah. Yes,
okay.
A sequel.
Well, we're always down.
We're always down for a sequel.
All you got to do is send it to us. I mean, we definitely are here for you guys. We're wanting to drive people to your films. That's what our goal is.
Yeah.
If you go on IMDb or if you go on the web and just Google Lurking Woods, you guys can find all the spots where you can see it at. I think it's renting right now on Amazon Prime. There's different places that you can grab it up. So guys, get out there and watch Lurking Woods. It does not disappoint. It is definitely one of the best films that we've seen in the independent, genre, slasher / revenge / kill everybody /
Australian
cool
slasher
getaways. Yes.
Love / love /
Exactly.
Go see it, all right.
Sweet love /
So, obviously on behalf of Rizal, Desmond, Dizzy, and JC, we really appreciate you guys being on here, and I hope everybody gets to watch the film, get out there and grab it. If you guys have any comments, comment below, let us know how much you love the film. This is episode 5, JC.
Episode 5 is in the can.
And episode 5 for Behind the Horror with Brown Man Horror. We appreciate you guys. JC?
Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate this. You guys have a great day.
Y'all have a good night.
Too.